Think of like the most embarrassing, devastating failure of your life, the exact moment you hope no one ever finds out about.
Right, the stuff we usually just want to bury.
Yeah, exactly. But what if I told you that specific painful moment is, well, exactly the material you need to share to become truly influential?
It sounds totally counterintuitive, I know.
It really does. Anyway, welcome to today's deep dive. We're looking at this amazing article by ORRIE Karim. It's called Sharing Your Story with the World.
Yeah, and our mission today is to figure out how sharing the raw, unedited truth of your life isn't just venting. It's actually a courageous act that provides a literal roadmap for someone else.
Okay, let's unpack this. The core argument here is that to truly connect with people, you have to stop just reciting what happened to you, right? Like you have to start excavating the why and the how.
Exactly. And taking that step, I mean, it completely changes the psychological dynamic for the storyteller. Claiming your narrative shifts you from being a passive participant who just, has things happen to them.
Right, you're not just a victim of circumstance anymore.
Yeah, you shift into being the author of your legacy. And Karim highlights this concept of the bridge of empathy, because we often assume our specific struggles are, too niche or too messy to share.
Oh, for sure. We think people will just judge us.
Right. But what's fascinating here is that human psychology works in the exact opposite way. The world is exhausted by flawless, unreachable personas.
Tell me about it. We just crave authenticity.
We really do. The hyper-specific, deeply personal details of your struggle, those are the exact hooks that make your story universally relatable to others.
That makes me think of like being on a movie set. It's like you're stepping out from in front of the camera where you're just reacting to things and taking a seat in the director's chair.
Yeah.
You're calling the shots on what the story actually means.
That's a perfect analogy. You are directing the narrative now.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Let me challenge that for a second. If our goal is total, raw authenticity, doesn't trying to structure it or extract a lesson make the whole thing feel, well, manufactured?
That is such a common fear.
Right. Like, if I just dump my raw experience on someone, isn't that more real?
Well, a raw trauma dump might feel real in the moment, but it doesn't give the listener anything they can actually use. Structure doesn't mean fiction.
Okay, so what does it mean then?
It's just the delivery mechanism, right? It ensures your truth actually embeds itself in the listener's mind. Karim outlines a framework for this, and it starts with finding your core truth.
Finding your core truth. Got it.
Yeah, you have to sift through the chaos of an experience and pull out the single most vital lesson. Finding that anchor prevents the story from just being a rambling diary entry.
Okay, but extracting a lesson still sounds a little, academic. Like, if I'm listening to someone speak, a lesson usually puts me to sleep.
Oh, absolutely. Which is why the second pillar is inviting the audience in. You don't just tell them the lesson, you drag them into the dirt with you.
Drag them into the dirt. I like that.
Right. Instead of just saying, I was resilient, you use sensory details. You show them the gritty, physical reality of the exact moment you decided not to give up.
So you're basically forcing their brain to simulate the experience alongside you.
Exactly. And that naturally builds to the third pillar, which is the call to action. And we aren't talking about a sales pitch here.
Thank goodness, because no one wants a sales pitch at the end of a personal story.
No, not at all. It's a psychological trigger. When you share how you navigated a brutal failure, you are actively challenging the listener to re-examine their own fears. You leave them changed in what they do or feel.
So what does this all mean? By structuring the story, we're actually trying to rewrite the listener's internal narrative. That carries a profound weight, doesn't it?
It really does. You aren't just giving a speech. The article actually looks to ancient texts to show just how timeless and serious this exchange is. Like, it brings up Psalm 34.
Oh, interesting. What does that say?
Well, it draws a direct line between living a good life and keeping your tongue from telling lies. It's all about the necessity of deep, fundamental honesty.
Wow. Okay, so honesty is basically a prerequisite for a good life.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, there's an even more striking concept from 2 Corinthians chapter 3. It's this beautiful metaphor that our lives are letters written by the Spirit of God.
Wait, letters written by the Spirit?
Yes, and they are carved not onto cold stone tablets, but directly onto human hearts.
Carved onto human hearts. Man, that completely reframes the casual conversations we have every day.
Right. Every time you share, you leave a mark.
Even from a purely secular standpoint, that is a fascinating way to look at human connection. Your unedited life story is literally rewriting the emotional programming of the person listening to it.
Exactly. The overarching takeaway from Karim's piece is that your story acts as a unique signature in the world. Sharing your truth doesn't just unburden you.
It helps other people too.
Yes, it grants others the permission to stop hiding and find their own authenticity. Your voice becomes the light helping someone else find their way home.
I love that. You're the director handing over your script so someone else can find their motivation.
That is exactly it.
Which leaves us with a final challenge for you, listening right now. If the completely unedited story of your life so far was published tomorrow as a literal roadmap for someone else, where's the very first place they would end up?